Chosen one, stop everything for a moment. Not because disaster is waiting outside your door, not because God is angry with you, and not because refusing this message will cause you to lose a blessing. Stop, because you may have been calling something divine silence that is actually an overloaded receiver. Three things can be true at the same time. God can still be guiding you, your calling can still be intact, and your present mental state can still make both difficult to recognize. That is the warning. You have asked for more signs, but more information has not made you clearer. You have tried to be patient. Yet, beneath that patience, you feel frozen. You remember a version of yourself who learned faster, created freely, and trusted responsible decisions. That person is not gone. But something has been happening quietly. Notifications have trained your attention to break. Stress has trained your body to scan for danger. Constant content has taught your mind to collect answers without integrating them. After long enough, the fog feels spiritual, because every uncertain thought sounds like a warning. Then you begin to question everything. You wonder whether God withdrew. You wonder whether your season ended. You wonder whether you were ever chosen at all. Listen carefully. This message is not accusing you. It is protecting you from a conclusion that may be false. The absence of clarity is not always the absence of guidance. Sometimes the signal is present. Sometimes the receiver needs care. Hold this truth, because without it, you may keep punishing yourself for a condition you never learned to name. That condition is the overloaded receiver. It appears when your mind receives more noise than it can calmly organize. You may still know what matters, but the signal becomes buried under pressure, fear, comparison, fatigue, and demands. The first sign is not that you know nothing. It is that you know many things, but cannot organize them into one trustworthy next step. You listen to one message, then another. You write notes. You save videos. You ask for confirmation, yet the decision remains where it was. This can feel personal. It can make you believe that you are weak or spiritually blocked, but an overloaded mind does not always need more pressure. Sometimes it needs less noise and a clearer way to separate truth from fear. Think about the last difficult choice you faced. Did you lack information, or did every option create another wave of doubt? That difference matters, because one problem is solved by learning more, while the other requires space to recognize what you already know. There are 4 signs that reveal this pattern. The fourth is often mistaken for a spiritual problem, and many remain trapped because nobody teaches the difference. Before we reach it, notice what is happening inside you. Are you searching for another answer, or avoiding the answer that asks you to act? Do not judge yourself, just notice. Awareness is not condemnation. It is the beginning of choice. If this describes your season, write, "I choose clarity." Let those words mark the moment you stopped calling confusion your identity. The warning is urgent, but the answer is not panic. The answer is learning how the fog became familiar and how wise direction becomes recognizable again. Now, look closely at the first sign. You receive information, but you cannot integrate it. You understand each message while hearing it. Yet when decision time arrives, everything feels scattered again. Knowledge enters, but it never becomes clear direction. You may have dozens of saved videos. You may keep notes. None of that is wrong. But when learning never becomes action, information can become another place to hide. The second sign is constant confirmation seeking. You feel a quiet answer, then immediately question it. You ask for another sign, then another. Each new confirmation calms you for a moment, but the relief fades because the deeper fear was never addressed. This pattern can look like devotion. Sometimes it is anxiety, wearing spiritual language. You may be searching because accepting the answer would require courage, responsibility, or a conversation you delayed. The third sign is the memory of a sharper self. You remember when ideas arrived faster. You remember reading with focus. You remember feeling creative and alive. Now simple tasks feel heavy, and you quietly wonder whether something essential has left you. Do not turn that memory into a verdict. Your present fog is not your permanent identity. It may be what we will call the borrowed fog, a state shaped by stress, poor rest, constant switching, emotional pressure, and habits that slowly became normal. Borrowed fog feels personal because you carry it daily. But carrying something does not mean it belongs to you. A heavy coat can feel like part of your body, yet removing it reminds you how freely you were meant to move. The fourth sign is often misunderstood. You spiritualize every cognitive struggle. Every forgotten detail becomes an attack. Every tired morning becomes a closed season. Every difficult choice becomes proof that God is withholding something. Some struggles may feel spiritual, but wisdom also examines sleep, stress, health, environment, and mental noise. Faith does not require you to ignore ordinary causes. A person can pray sincerely and still need rest. A person can trust God and still need professional support. A real calling can exist inside a nervous system pushed beyond its healthy rhythm. Do not reduce every problem to one explanation. Clarity often returns when spiritual reflection, practical care, and honest action begin working together. Later in this message, I will show you an unusual 8-minute auditory practice described by a New York medical specialist. Its creators connect it to research on how both hemispheres process information. I am not naming it yet, because a tool means nothing until you understand the problem it claims to address. Now hold one question. What if the clarity you keep asking for has not disappeared, but the condition required to recognize it has been neglected? That question changes this entire message. It moves you away from blame. It moves you away from panic. It moves you towards stewardship. You stop asking what is wrong with your calling, and you begin asking what has happened to the receiver carrying it. Information without integration, confirmation without courage, memory of a sharper self, spiritual language placed over every mental struggle. These are not final judgments. They are signals asking for a new response. And if the fog is borrowed, then another question becomes possible. Who are you when you begin returning it? Before constant noise became normal, your mind moved differently. You noticed details. You followed curiosity. You made connections without forcing them. You could become absorbed in a question or idea because your attention was not being pulled in 10 directions every minute. That earlier version was not perfect, but there was less self-surveillance. You explored first. You corrected later. Creativity had room to breathe, and learning felt more like discovery than pressure. Then life became louder. Responsibilities increased. Stress became familiar. Every screen, message, and demand trained your attention to switch quickly. Slowly, the mind that once stayed with one thing began expecting interruption. This does not mean your gift disappeared. It means access became harder. The ability may still be there, but buried beneath habits and conditions that keep your inner world divided. One part of your thinking examines details. Another recognizes patterns, context, emotion, and meaning. The brain is more complex than a simple left side and right side story. Yet healthy decisions still require different functions to cooperate. You need facts and perspective. You need analysis and the ability to sense how separate pieces fit together. When stress dominates, those processes can feel disconnected, and you may know the facts while still missing the whole picture. That is why forcing yourself to think harder can fail. More pressure does not always create more integration. Sometimes it narrows your focus until you see only the threat, the deadline, or the fear of making the wrong choice. Listen to this carefully. I did not remove your gift. Do not confuse an exhausted instrument with an absent calling. Whether you receive those words as prayer, reflection, or a reminder, let them interrupt the shame you have carried. You are not being told to ignore responsibility. You are being invited to change the conditions around your attention. Rest matters. Silence matters. Honest support matters. Imagine standing before a decision that once overwhelmed you. Your body is calm. Your breathing is steady. You separate what is known from what is feared. You stop demanding perfect certainty, and you choose one responsible step that can be tested. That is what clarity often looks like. It is not thunder. It is the quiet ability to see enough truth, accept uncertainty, and move without betraying your values. Take a moment, place your feet on the floor, let your shoulders drop, breathe in slowly, then breathe out gently. Bring one decision to mind. Do not solve it yet. Name only what is real. What facts do you know? What fear have you treated like a fact? What outcome are you trying to control? Notice how different the question feels when you stop asking for total certainty and begin asking for the next faithful step. This pause is not a complete solution, but it proves something important. You can create space before reaction. You can interrupt the cycle. And this is where many sincere people make the next mistake. When clarity does not arrive immediately, they consume more messages, seek more signs, and push harder. They believe effort will break the fog, but the extra input often makes the receiver even louder. Next, you will see why spiritual overconsumption can disguise itself as devotion, and why one simple practice can stop you from collecting answers you never use. The next trap is hard to notice because it can look like devotion. You feel uncertain, so you search for another message. You watch one video, then another. Anxiety softens briefly, but the decision still waits. Then, the discomfort returns. You search again. You save more teachings. Each new answer brings temporary relief, but nothing changes because the message never becomes action. This is spiritual overconsumption. It is not the same as seeking wisdom. Wisdom helps you see clearly and move responsibly. Overconsumption keeps you searching because searching feels safer than choosing. You may say you are waiting for peace, but sometimes you are waiting for fear to disappear completely. That moment may never come because courage is acting wisely while fear is still present. Ask yourself one honest question. Are you seeking truth or relief from the responsibility truth creates? The answer may feel uncomfortable, but it can free you. More input does not always create more clarity. Sometimes it creates more voices to compare, more opinions, more warnings, more possibilities. Every new message competes with the answer you already understood. You are not only processing your decision, you are processing every opinion attached to it. You may be carrying fears that were never yours. There is a simple practice you can begin today. It costs nothing. It requires only 8 quiet minutes. We will call it the one signal practice. First, turn off all new input. Put the phone away. Close the videos. Protect the room from interruption. Then write one question, not 5. Choose the decision taking the most energy from your mind. Second, write what you know for certain. Use facts. Do not write predictions. Do not write what another person might think. Write only what can be observed or responsibly checked. Third, write what is fear or assumption. Be honest. Maybe you fear rejection. Maybe you fear making a mistake. Maybe you fear disappointing someone who benefits from your hesitation. Fourth, choose one small action. Make it responsible. Make it reversible when possible. Send the email. Ask the question. Review the budget. Schedule the conversation. Take one step that creates real information. This practice will not solve every problem in 8 minutes, but it stops endless research from replacing movement. It gives your attention one signal to follow. Do not demand a dramatic feeling. Clarity may arrive quietly. It may look like knowing what to do next, while the final outcome remains unknown. Some decisions require counsel. Some require medical, legal, financial, or professional support. Seeking help is not weakness when the situation exceeds what private reflection can safely solve. The goal is not recklessness. The goal is to stop calling avoidance patience. A faithful step is simply honest, responsible, and aligned with what you already know. Now write down the one decision you will stop researching and begin responsibly testing. Do not choose the biggest action. Choose the clearest, next action. You may notice that this practice also uses 8 minutes. It prepares you to understand why a short protected window can be more useful than another hour of scattered input. Before that reveal, one false belief must be removed. Caring for your brain does not compete with caring for your spirit. In many seasons, it is part of the same stewardship. Faith does not require you to neglect the instrument through which you listen, remember, compare, and decide. You pray, but you still eat. You trust God, but you still sleep. You seek wisdom, but you may still ask a doctor, counselor, mentor, or trusted friend for help. Those actions can express humility, because wisdom may arrive through more than one channel. Your brain is not the source of God. It is not the master of your life, but it is part of the vessel carrying attention, memory, emotion, and judgment. Ignoring its condition does not make you more spiritual. A tired mind can mistake urgency for danger. A stressed body can interpret uncertainty as a threat. Fragmented attention can make a clear instruction feel impossible to hold long enough to follow. This is not shame. It is information. Once you understand the condition, you can respond with care instead of condemnation. Chosen ones do not prove faith by refusing every practical tool. They examine tools with wisdom. They test claims. They keep what helps and reject what does not. Never treat an audio practice as medical treatment. It should not replace sleep, professional care, therapy, or responsible action. Do not use any audio tool while driving or operating machinery. The contrast is simple. More messages are not always better than more integration. Passive waiting is not always faithful patience. Spiritual shame is not responsible stewardship. Earlier, I asked you to hold one question. What if clarity has not disappeared, but the condition required to recognize it has been neglected? You now understand why I waited before naming a tool. A tool introduced too early would sound like another promise competing for your attention. It would become one more thing to consume, save, and forget. That would repeat the pattern this message is trying to break. Now the question is different. You are no longer asking whether one more message can rescue you. You are asking whether a structured practice can support attention, integration, and calm action. That is a healthier question. It leaves room for evidence. It leaves room for personal experience. It leaves room for a clear no. The root problem is not always missing information. Often, it is the inability to organize information while the receiver is overloaded. You may know enough, but you cannot remain settled long enough to trust the next responsible step. The solution begins by reducing noise. It continues by supporting integration. Then it becomes real through action. No tool can complete that final step for you. This is why the science bridge matters. It cannot prove a spiritual calling or automatically validate a product. It matters because the creators base their explanation on how brain functions coordinate. Hear the explanation and its limits. Research about brain specialization is not the same as direct proof that one audio track will produce a specific result for every listener. That distinction protects you. It allows curiosity without blind trust. It allows hope without exaggeration. It helps you decide from clarity instead of pressure. Next, I will explain the research connection, 2 user reports, the 8-minute protocol, and the offer. Listen with discernment. Read the details for yourself. The goal is not to buy another promise. The goal is to evaluate whether a practical tool can support the condition you are already learning to protect. The problem is clear. You may not need more information. You may need a calmer condition where information can connect, settle, and become action. That is the difference between collecting answers and integrating them. The creators of this tool point to research associated with Dr. Roger Sperry. He received a share of the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1981 for work concerning specialization in the cerebral hemispheres. That research expanded understanding of how the hemispheres can perform different functions while contributing to one unified experience. It does not directly prove the product you are about to hear about. That distinction is important. Foundational research can inspire a product idea, but inspiration is not direct clinical proof. The product claims must be evaluated separately. The creators state that stress and fragmented attention can make coordination harder. They call the desired state whole brain activation. This is a product claim, not a guaranteed medical result. Before naming it, consider two experiences supplied by the creators. These are personal reports. They are not promises, and they should not be treated as typical results. One woman from California said she had tried prayer, journaling, and other practices. She reported that consistent use helped her feel more present and better able to hear her own thoughts. A man from Texas described brain fog as normal. After using the audio, he reported feeling clearer at work and more settled when making decisions. Those accounts may encourage you. They do not prove every listener will experience the same change. Testimonials show what some people report, not what must happen for you. The product is called the Genius Switch. According to the product information, it is a digital audio track lasting 8 minutes, connected to the work of Dr. Daniel Barone in New York. The creators call the method neural sync technology, a targeted auditory sequence designed to support synchronization between the hemispheres. The suggested use is simple. Put on headphones, close your eyes, listen once each day in a safe and quiet place. Never use it while driving, operating machinery, or doing anything requiring full attention. The product is not medical treatment. It does not replace professional care, sleep, therapy, medication, or healthy habits. This is not for someone seeking a supernatural shortcut. It is for someone willing to protect 8 quiet minutes, follow the instructions, record honest observations, and judge the experience by what actually changes. You may have tried other audio programs. That concern is reasonable. The creators position this one differently because of its targeted sequence and focus on hemisphere synchronization. That does not mean other methods are useless or that this one must work for you. You may think the promise sounds too good. Keep your skepticism. Do not surrender it because a scientific name appears. Read the sources, review the terms. Separate foundational research from direct product evidence. The protocol is 8 minutes once a day. Consistency matters more than forcing a dramatic result. Now consider the offer described in the product file. The creators present a value anchor of $500. The listed price is $49, while the current offer in the file is $39. The purchase includes lifetime digital access and 4 bonuses. The listed bonuses include a guided visualization, a smart grocery shopping guide, a classic manifestation book, and a 4th bonus that must match the current official page. The offer also states a 100% money-back guarantee under the published terms. Read those terms before purchasing, because a guarantee may still include steps or conditions. The official page is linked in the description and pinned comment. Review every claim and term for yourself. The file says the price and bonus terms may change. That is a practical reason to review the page today, but it is not a reason to panic. Do not let urgency replace judgment. Choosing not to purchase does not make you less faithful, less gifted, or less chosen. This is an invitation to evaluate, not a command to obey. The file also states that the authentic product is sold through the official website. Similar tracks elsewhere may not be the same product, So verify the source before paying. If you try it, follow the instructions and track your experience honestly. If you do not try it, continue the free practice. Protect 8 minutes. Reduce input. Write one question. Separate fact from fear. Take one responsible step. A tool may support the condition for clarity, but no tool can make the decision, live the discipline, or walk the path for you. Wisdom becomes real only after the noise grows quiet and you choose to act. A tool can support the condition for clarity, but it is not the source of wisdom. It cannot create your calling. It cannot choose courage for you. It cannot replace the work that only you can do. That distinction protects your freedom. You are not giving your power to an audio track. You are using a practice, observing the result, and deciding whether it helps you become more present. A useful tool should not make you dependent. It should support a healthier rhythm. Use the 8-minute practice once each day. Wear headphones, close your eyes. Sit or lie down somewhere safe. Do not multitask. Do not listen while driving or operating machinery. After each session, write 3 short answers. What feels clearer today? What action am I avoiding? What evidence would show that this practice is helping or not helping? Those questions keep you honest. They prevent hope from becoming fantasy. They also prevent one difficult day from becoming a final judgment. You do not need to force an experience. Some days may feel calm, other days may feel ordinary. The goal is not to chase a dramatic sensation. The goal is to notice patterns over time. Maybe you focus longer. Maybe you react less quickly. Maybe you begin one task without opening 5 others. Small changes can matter when they become consistent. But do not ignore warning signs. Stop using any audio that causes discomfort, distress, or symptoms that concern you. Seek qualified support when a problem needs more than private practice. The official information page for the 8-minute tool remains linked below for anyone who wants to examine it. Read first. Decide calmly. Use the guarantee terms as part of your evaluation. Now, release the need to decide from excitement. Place one hand over your chest. Let your jaw soften. Breathe in slowly and let the breath leave without force. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to compare the claims with the evidence. You are allowed to say yes, no, or not yet. Your worth does not change with that choice. Your calling does not depend on a purchase. Your faith is not measured by whether you use one particular tool. The clearest proof of this message will not be what you buy. It will be what you stop postponing. It will be the conversation you finally begin, the boundary you protect, or the task you complete. Clarity becomes visible through action. It becomes trustworthy through repeated choices, and it becomes part of your life when you stop waiting for perfect certainty before taking one wise step. Now bring one delayed decision back into your mind. Do not ask whether you can control the entire outcome. Ask whether you can identify the next faithful step. Use the clarity test. Begin with your values. Does this choice agree with the person you are trying to become? Does it protect honesty, responsibility, peace, and respect? Then examine the facts. Do you have the minimum information needed to take a small step? You do not need every answer. You need enough truth to move without pretending. Now examine the emotion. Are you feeling conviction or are you feeling panic? Conviction can be firm, but it does not need chaos. Panic demands immediate relief and treats every delay as danger. Finally, choose the smallest responsible action. Make it measurable, make it honest, make it reversible when possible. This turns a vague burden into something your mind can hold. In work, that step may be updating your resume. It may be sending one proposal. Do not leave a job because one emotional moment feels prophetic. Gather facts, review your budget, seek counsel, test the direction before making a permanent move. In relationships, the next step may be a calm conversation. It may be naming a boundary. It may be admitting what you need without attacking the other person. Do not call avoidance patience, but do not call danger devotion either. If a relationship includes abuse, threats, or control, seek professional and local support before confronting the situation alone. In your calling, the step may be smaller than your imagination wants. Write one page, record one draft, make one call, build one simple version. You do not need the whole staircase. You need the next stable step. Action creates information that endless thinking cannot provide. Imagine waking tomorrow without reaching for noise immediately. You sit quietly. You know what matters first. You begin before comparison has a chance to steal your attention. Imagine listening to someone you love without preparing a defense. You hear the words. You notice your reaction. You answer from presence instead of old pressure. Imagine finishing the task you delayed for months. The work is not perfect, but it is real. And reality begins teaching you what imagination alone never could. This is the life clarity serves. It is not a life without questions. It is a life where questions no longer control every decision. The final sign of clarity is not that every uncertainty disappears. It is that uncertainty no longer controls your next responsible step. That is the peak, not perfect confidence, not a supernatural guarantee. The peak is becoming someone who can move wisely while part of the road remains unseen. Right, I will take the next faithful step. Let the words become a decision, not another phrase you forget after the video ends. Choose the step now. Name the time. Remove one obstacle. Tell one trusted person, if accountability will help. You have spent enough energy circling what you already understand. The receiver is becoming quieter. The signal is becoming easier to recognize. Now your life must answer. Chosen one, the warning that opened this message was never meant to leave you afraid. It was meant to interrupt a pattern that had become normal. You learned about the overloaded receiver. You saw how information can enter without becoming direction. You recognized the borrowed fog, and you stopped treating a temporary state like a permanent identity. You practiced one clear signal. You separated facts from fear. You learned that caring for your attention can be part of faithful stewardship. Now, let the message settle. Confusion does not automatically mean God has stopped guiding you. A difficult season does not prove that your calling has been removed. Sometimes the signal is present. Sometimes the receiver needs rest, support, and a quieter place to listen. Sometimes the next answer appears after you stop demanding the entire future. Walk forward with wisdom, not fear. Care for the vessel. Test what you hear. Take the next faithful step. Let us pray. God, bring peace where panic has been speaking. Bring wisdom where fear has been pretending to be guidance. Bring patience where pressure has demanded immediate answers. Help us protect our attention. Help us recognize what is true. Give us courage to act on what we know, and humility to seek help when the situation requires more support. Teach us to rest without escaping. Teach us to move without rushing. Teach us to hold uncertainty without surrendering our values. Where shame has grown, bring mercy. Where avoidance has hidden, bring honesty. Where the mind feels scattered, create room for one clear and responsible step. Now speak these words slowly. I am not abandoned. I am not my present fog. I do not need endless signs to take one responsible step. I protect my attention. I test what I hear with wisdom. I care for my mind without making it my master. I release fear-driven urgency. I welcome clear and faithful action. What has been delayed by confusion will no longer be delayed by avoidance. I will walk forward in peace. I will ask for help when help is needed. I will not mistake exhaustion for failure. I will not build permanent conclusions from temporary fog. I will not surrender my calling to one difficult season. I will begin with what is true today. Take one breath. Feel your feet beneath you. Let your shoulders fall. You do not need to solve everything before this moment ends. You only need to remember the clarity test. Does the step match your values? Do you have enough facts? Is the feeling conviction or panic? What is the smallest responsible action? Carry those questions with you. Use them when noise returns. Use them when fear demands certainty. Use them when another message tempts you to delay the action you already understand. If this declaration belongs to you, write, "I choose clarity." Let that sentence mark the point where you stopped identifying with confusion. Share this message with one person who may be mistaking exhaustion for spiritual failure. They may not need another prediction. They may need permission to care for the receiver. Chosen one, the message was urgent. But the answer is not panic. The answer is clarity, stewardship, and the courage to take the next faithful step. The signal may still be present, the gift may still be alive, and the next chapter may begin with one quiet, responsible choice made today.